Welcome back to Michigan Sports Media Network. And as always, I am here with our Tigers reporter, Brad Thompson, and our Red Wings reporter, James Gullett. Now,
Yeah.
moving on to the Pistons. This will be a pretty quick one today. Not too much has changed really since the last time we talked. They won against Washington last night. Cade had another good game, 27 points, 8 boards, 10 assists, almost a triple-double. Duran, ever since the game he had a couple days ago, probably last week now, he's really bounced back. He's been better, offensively, defensively. He's been catching lobs and throwing it down, looking like the Duran that we saw throughout the season. So pretty much what I said or what I thought was happening happened with him, and it was just a bad night. But with that being said, playoff seeding. Our win against Washington moved us up the playoff seeding just a little bit. I think we're still technically the sixth seed as of right now, but we do have one win more than Indiana and Milwaukee, so that can kind of change things as games are played. But just something to keep an eye on. And then last thing I got is Devin Booker. Okay, the Pistons right now are the betting favorites to land Booker. And it sounds like a package is not going to be anything near what we thought it would be, right? I'm hearing a lot of Jaden Ivey and maybe another player and a couple picks. Do I think that'll happen? Probably not. I think it'll probably take Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris in 2 to 3 firsts minimum. I could also see them asking for a Ron Holland in that trade, which really isn't that bad, honestly. I think I would do that deal just because, like, Booker is literally exactly what you need for Cade as a running mate. And then really all you need to do is re-sign Malik Beasley, maybe get another backup center, and another wing. And I think the Pistons are pretty much ready to go. I mean, they're not going to be, betting favorites. They're not going to be, looked at like the Boston Celtics are by any means. But we could be talking about the Pistons being a legit contender, a top 3 seed in the East. So, with that being said, I will pass it over to you, James, and you can take the floor if you have anything on that.
I would absolutely love to see Devin Booker in a Pistons jersey. That might, uh, the only thing I would probably rather see in terms of Detroit sports, besides like a championship, would be Devin Booker in a Pistons jersey. Um, Basketball is my weakest sports, the one I watch the least, but I am always on social media. I always follow people that follow basketball. I always see articles, retweets, et cetera, et cetera. Devin Booker is from, I believe, Grand Rapids, but he's from Michigan. And he always, I mean, still to this day, even after being in Phoenix for however many years he's been over there, 6, 7, he's still constantly, like I saw him, a picture of him and Dylan Larkin at a charity golf event, and he was still wearing like an old English D hat, and he always represents the city of Detroit. And I remember when he was a draft prospect and he said how bad he wanted to be a Piston. So like this is the Pistons version of Hutch, someone that went to school here, someone that was born and raised here, someone that wants to be here. And it's just such a good story. And not only is it a good story, he's also obviously a phenomenal basketball player. Even myself, who doesn't watch a ton of basketball, of course I know who he is. Of course I know what he can do. I'm not that under a rock. But between the feel-good story and his playability, and as much as I love Cade Cunningham, but I mean, I think Devin Booker would probably be the face even over Cade. I think that's debatable, but it seems too good to be true. And for that fact alone, I'm going to say it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's valid. I mean, I think most likely scenario is he probably does stay in Phoenix because it's most likely that they trade away, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, or at least try to, which Bradley Beal's no trade clause has kind of gotten in the way with that. But the thing about Booker is, a lot of people forget he took that Phoenix Suns team to the NBA Finals without Kevin Durant, without Bradley Beal. He did that with Chris Paul and uh, who's the big man? I'm forgetting his name. Plays for the
Anytime?
Trailblazers now, but yeah, DeAndre Ayton. I think about that now. Chris Paul, right? Good call. Chris Paul. he's on the Spurs now. He's a backup point guard for the most part. He's not really doing too much. I mean, obviously, this was a few years ago, but even the year after that, Chris Paul was not seen as some elite, player by any means. And then DeAndre Ayton, he got traded for, I mean, not a whole lot. So if you look at it that way, like they traded for Kevin Durant to try to move over the top, and it just didn't work out. I'm not really sure why. If you ask me, I think it's because they didn't prioritize depth once they made that move. Because I think if they would have just kept Booker and KD and kind of built around those guys, they would have been better off. But then they had to add Bradley Beal, and I think that kind of derailed, their success a little bit. But one more thing before I pass it over to you, Brad. Actually, Devin Booker, kind of a funny story about him. One of my high school football coaches actually coached his AAU basketball team. So I was hearing about Devin Booker since, he was, I want to say like 17 was probably when I first like they were talking about him because he was like known as a good high school prospect and was, they were talking about where he was going to commit and all this. So like for a couple of years I was, Devin Booker, where's he committing? What's going on here? And then I just remember like when my coach was telling us about the draft and how he's getting to go to the draft and how he's probably going to get picked at 3 or picked at 7 or whatever the case. And, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, he's always wanted to be a Piston, man. He is a Detroit kid through and through, Michigan boy. Obviously, from what I can remember, he spent half of his year in Michigan and the other half, I believe, in Mississippi. Because I think his dad lived up here and his mom lived down there, or vice versa. I can't remember exactly on that. So he's not like necessarily Michigan born and bred type of guy, but he lives that way. You know what I mean? He's a Michigan boy for sure, like you said. So, just kind of a cool tidbit, some little timeline crossing there. But with that being said, Brad, the floor is yours.
All right, hey, I want to bring it back to last night with the Pistons, and at halftime, Natalie Kerwin entered. It was just right before a little scrum too, and she got Jalen Duren when he was still little. He was still a little intense, and he goes. She asked him about this. He goes, man, we love this. He goes, we live for this. He goes, bring it. We want it. Now, that's the exact same quote you'd see in a 1989, 1990 Bad Boys locker room. In fact, I'm thinking if Duran's got this kind of mentality, he could have been a bad boy. And when you say someone could have played on the Bad Boys, that is the highest praise you can say in Detroit basketball. And I'm thinking, whoo, this guy, okay, good deal. Uh, the the lobs from Cade to Duran, teams know they're coming by now. They know they're coming, and it's pick your poison. If you want to go with Duran, Cade will pull up and he'll dagger you. If you step out on Cade, guess what? You're getting thunder kissed, all right, by Duran. All right. So we've got something special going on here. We really do. Uh, with Devin Booker, I don't think is if I don't think he's going to be traded. I think that other pieces will be moved. Knowing a little bit about Matt Ishbia and myself, because I actually coached him in baseball way long ago, the dude is a flat-out competitor. The guy competes in business. He competes in everything. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he was a 12th man on the 2000 National Championship Michigan State Spartan team. All right, they used to be called him the Human Victory Cigar because when he was in, it was over. All right, but no, he's not good. I would be shocked if he lets Booker go. He would probably say, everybody else, you can get the fuck out. I'm keeping Devin Booker because he knows, heart and soul and things like that. Now, if it doesn't work and Booker says, hey, I want out, I want out, I want out, call up the Pistons and say, the Pistons should say, hey, who do you want outside of Thompson, Duran, Cade, and I'm thinking Thompson, Duran, Cade, and that would probably be it right now. Beasley is a free agent. We got to sign him back, so wouldn't count him. But, dude, take him. Take who you want. I personally think it would require a Jaden Ivey, a Holland, who Holland's going to be pretty damn good. First round draft pick. Jaden Holland, Marcus Sasser, but I think you're looking at 3 number ones too. You're looking at 3 number ones. Now they get Booker, then all bets are off, and anything can happen with that ball club. Anything can happen. So I'm all for it as long as you keep those, as long as you keep the core in place. And that's all I got.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And really, the only thing I would say about that is we have to match salaries. And for that to happen, Tobias Harris has to be included. And I don't even know if Tobias Harris, Ivy, and Holland would even match because Devin Booker's making over 50 million this year, per year. So like it's going to kind of be weird to make that trade happen anyway. And I also am kind of in the camp of I don't think he's going to be traded. I mean, think about it. Like I just said, he took the team to the finals, right? He's 29. He's not 34. You know what I mean? He's not 36 like Steph Curry is. He's a guy that realistically the Suns have under contract, I think, for the next 3 to 4 seasons. And I mean, there's really no need to trade him, even if they suck, even if they're terrible. You keep a guy like that just to kind of keep asses in seats, at that point. So